Okay, so I wanted to get started asking about the development of the script for the film and what it really inspired you to write the story for the film and what that experience was like of really getting the project together in terms of this.
Yeah. Well, I kind of started off like writing my short films with locations that I had access to because we were doing them for, you know, little to no money. Um, so when it came time to doing the feature, I was trying to write something very contained for budget reasons. And I just love movies like Rope and like Silence de la Lumiere and just those single room location films. And I really wanted to try and tackle something like that. And then once the sort of premise I figured that out, then it kind of became more about like just greed and the ramifications of it.
Speaking about the isolated setting of the film, I also wanted to ask about really deciding where you would shoot the film and really working with your production designer to really create the look for the rest stop and the diner and the overall film as
Yeah, so the diner is actually this place called Four Aces in Lancaster, and I wasn't aware that it's like such an overused set. But I found it, and I basically wrote the script based off that location. So I went there, scouted, took a bunch of pictures, sort of drew an overhead of the diner, and you know crafted the script out of the location. And then from there, yeah, my production designer, Charlie Texter, he's incredible. So because, a lot of people are familiar with this set, with the budget that we had, we just tried to do everything we could to make it our own and make it unique. So we had like a couple weeks of scenic and dressing, and yeah, I love the way the diner looks. I think Charlie is amazing.
well. And after writing the script, what was your experience like going on to direct the film, and what was your just overall approach to directing one's production?
Uh, just a lot of prep, a lot of prep. My cinematographer and I, we work really, really close with one another, and we shot list, we shot designer, we use Unreal Engine to pre-visualize some more complicated sequences, but we come in with a very, very um, thought out plan. So when it came time to actually directing the thing, it was like I had put in so much work and so much preparation that it wasn't really stressful. I mean, and until things like weather and things that were out of our control really affected the set. But going into it, I was confident that our cast was going to be incredible. I've been a huge fan of this entire cast for years, and it was like a dream to work with them. And we got to do a lot of table reads and one-on-ones and just rehearsals. And so we came in there because we had such a short shooting schedule. We all just came in very prepared.
Also, speaking about the cast and getting to work with them and developing their characters and the story, and what was that process like in casting and really collaborating with all the characters in the film as well?
Um, yeah. Well, when I wrote the script, I sort of had a lot of these people in mind already. So um, I've been a huge fan of Jocelyn since I saw her in House of the Devil. I'm like, as a filmmaker, Jim Cummings has been like a North Star for me. So it was like a lot of these people I already had in mind when I approached them. So, or like Sierra McCormick, I saw her in The Vast of Night. Um, I saw Nicholas Logan and I care a lot. And I was kind of creating this short list of actors that I really, really love. And wrote them all personal letters and they responded and I got really lucky. So, and we also just like, I think the other thing that really made such a great experience was, and I think this is pretty rare, it's every single cast member, they're all huge cinephiles. We're all just huge movie nerds. Like, so it was just like, we were on set at 4 o'clock in the morning and we're talking about movies and we're wrapping at 8 and we're still talking about movies. And it was a dream. So yeah. I don't know. Sorry, does that answer your question or?
Yeah, yep, it does.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And once you began filming, what was it like working with the cast as well and really creating the physicality and like the action sequences for the
Um, yeah, that kind of went in, we again, my cinematographer and I, we kind of had a lot of that planned out. So um we kind of came in with a full-fledged plan on like how to shoot these things practical. But then, working really closely with our pyrotechnicians and all the operators and just really, honing it in on the day and, making sure everybody was safe. And, we didn't have time to, if there was a squib shot, we only got one shot because of time and money. We didn't have time to like sew in another squib or, so it was like before we did that shot, we had to make sure everything was right. So we were like, let's rehearse it. Let's rehearse it again. Let's rehearse it again until it was, we were confident that we weren't going to miss it.
film. And
Yeah.
I also wanted to follow up, like you mentioned, working with your cinematographer and really figuring out how you would visually shoot, especially with so many different characters in the ensemble and the different movements they have. And what was that experience like? And really like blocking and just visually shooting the movie in general.
Yeah. You know, again, we watched a lot of movies, single room locations that were like, or room movies that like Rope. We watched Dial M for Murder, like Silent Stella Mirror, and we really wanted to do something that didn't feel like a stage play. And so there was a lot of conversations about how do we do this in a single room where it doesn't feel like a stage play, and how do we shoot every corner of this room without it feeling contrived. Um, so it was that, and then on top of that, it was also like we know we didn't have a lot of time, so it was about really finding single take moments and really really committing to them. So it was like, okay, we can spend a day on this 7-minute scene and get all the coverage in the world, or we can just keep it in a two shot and really commit to it. And I personally love, I mean, when it's the right moment, I love it. So that was another factor when, considering when going through the shot list, was just like finding those moments where it's like, okay, we can just do this in one shot and move on quickly.
Mm. And
I'm just gonna
even
turn my
though
phone on here.
And even though the movies were like a thriller overall, I also like that there were some moments of like humor like, and comic relief mixed in as well. And was that something that was intentional in the script, or did that come up on the day, or what was that process like of really adding those more comedic moments in the film as well?
Yeah, it was definitely in the script. It is kind of funny because I think some people that read the script didn't really catch the humor, and I kept calling it a dark comedy, and everyone's like, this is a this is a crime thriller. What do you mean it's a comedy? And I was like, because I kind of knew who we were going to cast. I knew Jim Cummings was going to bring his sensibilities, and Nick was going to bring his sensibilities, and I just wanted to have fun and swing for the fences and do big characters. And um, so it was everybody that thought we were making like a very serious crime thriller quickly realized we were making a dark comedy on set, and like we were having so much fun on set and like laughing at so much stuff that it just was very apparent that we were making a dark comedy, even though some people might not find it a dark comedy, but I sure as hell do.
Mhm. And besides directing the film, I also wanted to ask about producing as well and how you found that balance on set and directing and producing and really getting the project together as well as duties as well.
Yeah, it was. I have a lot of experience producing. I produced at a record label for a couple years, and it was my contribution to producing was really just getting this thing off the ground and getting the ball moving. And um, But once it came to actually like being on set, I told my producers, Atif and Matt, I was like, I'm hands off when we're shooting. Like I can't like produce. So they really um, held down the fort during production. It was really just like pre and post where my contribution to producing applied.
Also, speaking about the post-production of what was the editing process like as well, and really figuring out how you wanted the final tone and look of the film to be as well.
Yeah, you know, um, editing the movie was I had a first cut in like 3 weeks. I barely slept. I was editing like 20 hours a day, and it happened really fast because how much we prepped and how little coverage we got. It was a little bit like paint by numbers for me. Obviously took some finessing, but like the first cut, because we didn't have options, I didn't give myself options. It really just came together. And then in terms of color, um, we figured out the color even before we shot. So we went to the location, we tested out footage. My cinematographer and I sat in the room when we colored the thing and then exported a LUT. And so we had a monitor on set um, that we were looking at with the LUT, so we could see what the final color would, you know, sort of look like. The post came together pretty quickly. I had an amazing composer. I was going to compose it, or sorry, I don't know. Maybe you were going to ask about that, but I was going to compose it because I've done my short films, and then my baby was born in January, so I ended up looking for a composer, and I just got to work with one of the most amazing composers. His name is Matthew Compton, and he just everything he did, I'm such a fan of. So
Yeah, I was actually also about to ask about the music and the score
yeah,
and how you really put together. Like, I thought the song choices you had were really interesting as well. So I wanted to ask about that process and really figuring out what kind of music and just score in general you want.
yeah. I I wrote all the music into the script, um, and I was worried that we would not be able to get the rights. So I did something really stupid, and I had the characters sing along to the
Mhm.
songs. So we have to get the rights. But yeah, all the whole soundtrack was all written, and none of that changed. I mean, I was playing the songs on set for the actors. But in terms of score, yeah, Matthew Compton, I think he really found a great balance between the comedy and the the tension. And I hope I get to work with them again.
And now with the film playing at Fantastic Fest this year, what's that experience been like as well? And gearing up for the screening there and really getting to share the movie with the audience at the fest.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch it with an audience. I mean, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I'm very curious how an audience is going if how they're going to respond to the movie. Are they going to laugh, or because yeah, I don't know, and I'm nervous because I with my close friends, I'm laughing at parts that I maybe shouldn't be laughing at, but um, so I'm very curious how an audience is going to respond to that. It's some people look at Fargo as a serious movie, and I think it's hilarious. So maybe it's gonna be one of those things where it's just completely split, and some people find it funny, and some people find it really fucked up. I don't know.
Mhm. And after Fantastic Fest, do you have any other festivals coming up that you can also discuss or ideas about distribution?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So we're doing our European premiere at Sitges in October, and UTA and XYZ Films are doing our sales. Um, and yeah, that's that's all the news. We're premiering this Saturday at 5:15 p.m. 23rd. So yeah.
Okay, I think that was really it, but thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
jumping on.
thanks again.